Thank you, everybody, for being here today. We really appreciate it. Thank you for the weather cooperating, as it often does in Buffalo, to allow us to do this wonderful event. This is really a tremendous day, not only for Daemen, but for the entire nation, as we come together to recognize the service of our men and women who have put forth so much for this country. So I want to start off by welcoming and introducing Dr. Mike Brogan. Dr. Brogan is our Vice President for Academic Affairs here at the college. And when you announced Dr. Brogan, clearly the gods know what kind of man he is, because the wind blows tremendously. Dr. Brogan is has not only been a Daemen now for 35 years, 38 years, serves as our Vice President for Academic Affairs, but he was also a veteran as well. So please give me a warm welcome for Dr. Brogan.
Gee, I might need somebody from the Navy over here. So let's see. Well, thanks, Greg. Good morning and welcome to Daemen College. Thank you for joining us this day to honor those who serve and those who served to preserve our freedom. The college is humbled and to honor our alumni, students, and colleagues who have served and those serving our country, and also their families, and all those who have and continue to support our veterans. As a baby boomer growing up in South Buffalo, I always cherished knowing and telling whatever audience I could about my dad and mom. My father graduated from Blaisdell High School and was then immediately drafted into the Army, processed and went to basic and subsequent training. He was then shipped over to England, where he and so many other soldiers trained for the invasion. During that year in England, he met my mom, who was in the English Navy, and following the war, they married and made Buffalo their home. My dad was engaged in the Normandy D-Day invasion, survived, and fought on. That's all I knew. However, as a child in the 50s, I wore that knowledge as a badge of honor. I deeply respected his service, as did my sisters, his parents, 11 siblings, and our family at large. And as a child, I would always speak of him in school, at show and tell, short writing assignments, and whenever I could of he and my mom about their military service. My father passed away in 2009 at 88 years of age. He was a steel worker dedicated to his family. My mom had passed away 3 years earlier. As the executive of their estate, I went through all his belongings and found his discharge materials. I learned a great deal of what I didn't know. I learned of his MOS, and then he went into Normandy, through France, into Belgium, then Germany, serving in General Patton's Third Army. All his battles and campaigns were listed, including liberating 2 concentration camps. Like so many veterans, he said little about his service. Today is a day to remember and thank all those who serve and all those who served our country. So many who say so little, but sacrifice so much. We are grateful for their service, for their family support, and for all they have done to preserve our freedom. We are the home of the free because of the brave. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Thank you. This is beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Brogan. It's now my privilege to welcome Senator Michael Ransenhofer from the 61st District, who wanted to stop by and say a few words. Senator Ransenhofer?
Good morning and welcome on this beautiful, balmy day here in beautiful downtown Amherst. It's great to be back at Daemen College. I've had and enjoyed many opportunities to participate in many events here, but the Veterans Day ceremony is very, very special to me because of what Daemen College means to veterans. You know, this is a time when, you look around and, it's just good to see so many people here because we're all so busy. We're busy with our families, we're busy with our studies, we're busy with our schoolwork, with our jobs. So it is so very important that we take today to honor those who have served, those who have sacrificed, and not just the individual men and women, but behind every soldier and sailor, there's a family member, there's a spouse, there's a mother and father, there are brothers and sisters, there are children. And it's not only the men and women who serve and have made those sacrifices, but the families that travel with them and stand by their side. You know, serving in the Senate, one of the things that we often come in contact with is we meet a lot of veterans. And one of the things that veterans tell me is when they're in the service and they move from area to area and they're in a place for 3 years and 4 years, the tremendous difficulties that their families have. And we try to address these issues legislatively. So you have high school students that are transferring to, say, Amherst High School across the street, and they were in school in Kentucky, and they come over here, and they don't get credits for all the coursework that they did. And one of the things that we try to do is we try to make things easier, so it's easier for families to make that transition. You know, I consider myself very fortunate in serving with the Senate in that in New York State we have Fort Drum, which is the home to one of the largest military installations and number of men and women in the service. And this particular year, I was very fortunate that we had in Albany for a special recognition the commandant of Fort Drum, who is actually a graduate of Sweet Home High School. So Amherst is very proud and should be very proud of what it has contributed to our military service and the sacrifices that these individuals make on behalf of all of us. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention West Point. West Point is in New York State, and we're very fortunate this year in particular to have men and women from this particular area who also attend West Point and serve our country. But today is really a day to honor the individuals, the men and women who have made that sacrifice, who have served our country. And it's just so very heartfelt for me to be able to come to Daemen. I have an opportunity to probably attend maybe a dozen Veterans Day services, and I'll be attending a few throughout the day. But Daemen College does more for its veterans than any of the other schools, not only in the rest of my district, which spans from Buffalo to Rochester, but in New York State. Daemen College has done more to welcome, to help, to educate veterans, not only from this area, but in other ceremonies that I've attended, which have been inside, by the way, and a little bit warmer. I've had the opportunity to meet families who have come from Minnesota and all over the country, and they come and they travel throughout the United States to come to Daemen College because Daemen College has the services, has the program, which helps those who have made those sacrifices and have served our nation. So again, on behalf of myself and New Yorkers and the 61st District, thank you again for including me today, and it's just very humbling to be able to stand before you and to just say thank you to the men and women who have served our nation. Thank you very much.
Since the weather isn't, oh, that's loud. Since the weather isn't bad enough, we thought that the best way to do this ceremony would be to plant a tree in the middle of winter. But when we put together this ceremony, and we thought long and hard about that, and we talked with our veterans and what they would want, I think Dr. Brogan said it best. So many of them have given so much and say so little. So planting a tree is designed to be a long-term remembrance, a permanent remembrance of the work that our veterans, the men and women who've served, and their families, and I want to make sure we're very clear about that, the families who've served as well, to have a tree that will last on our campus, hopefully for perpetuity. So what I would like to do before we ring the bell and have our color guard come out is have anybody who has served, who has had a family member serve, if they could go behind us, you'll see some gold shovels and you'll see a tree. If we could get some people to stand over there, I will pick a few of you to grab a shovel and put some ceremonial dirt in the ground. This tree, again, is designed to serve as a remembrance for all who've served and their families. Pulling this all together, we wanted to ring our Founders Day bell, and we wanted to ring that bell 11 times. Veterans Day has its roots in the end of World War I, and so we want to ring that bell right around 11 o'clock. Eric Price, Army. Frank Fiorola, Air Force. Pete Belanca, Marines. Dr. Robert Rood, Navy. Todd Sukduklak, Navy, Marines, and Air Force.
Jeffrey Gatza, Marines. Raymond Graff, Marines. Brian Pettit, Army. Dr. Michael Ross, Air Force. Brenda Pryor, Army. Dr. Michael Brogan, Air Force.
Our flag is known as the Stars and Stripes. The Union consists of white stars on a blue field, symbolic of a new constellation. Each star represents one individual state, and together they stand united, indivisible. The stripes represent the original 13 colonies that declared their independence from Great Britain in 1776. Though unofficial, red is symbolic for the blood of those who have given their lives to protect and defend our great nation from all of her enemies, both foreign and domestic. White represents purity, innocence, and hope. Blue is for vigilance, perseverance, and justice. In our hearts, our flag stands for many things evident in the Declaration of Independence, where all men are created equal, with rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The right of the people to alter or abolish any form of government that becomes destructive. Our flag stands for the Constitution of the United States of America, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. It provides for security to all of her citizens. It also provides for a fair and swift trial. It abolished slavery, and it gives each and every individual of age the right to participate in our voting process, to have a say in his or hers future. Our flag is a beacon recognized around the world to represent freedom during times of peace or during times of war. This is what we live for. This is what we will fight for. And if necessary, to touch the hand of God in her defense. The charge that we accept as soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines is a noble one, for there is no heart stronger than that of a volunteer. Let us pray that God will reflect with admiration the willingness of one nation in its attempt to rid the world of tyranny, oppression, and misery. It is this one nation under God that we call with honor the United States of America. God bless our flag. God bless our troops. God bless America.